If you've ever seen my channel before, you'll know that the niche I try to hit is that I use my years of pro play experience to teach you the type of things that no one has ever covered before on YouTube, and in this video I'm going to keep that tradition alive. Today I'm going to go through and show you all of my top tips, but this time for the laning phase. But I'm only going to be showing you the type of things that you've almost certainly never seen before. And as always with my videos, timestamps are attached to the video as well, so you can always skip ahead to the next tip anytime you like. Now I wanted to quickly let you know that for the next couple of days there's a 30% Black Friday sale on all coaching sessions with me, meaning you could stock up on hours worth of coaching at a far cheaper price than will ever be available again. You don't need to schedule the sessions now either, you can hold on to them to use for weeks and months to come. Link to that in the video description below. Now starting with our first tip and the true inspiration for why I made this video in the first place, I have a method you can use to accurately measure the XP differences between you and your lane opponent. Now there doesn't exist a way that you can magically view your opponent's XP bar in order to see what their level progress is, but by watching them hit a level up and comparing that to your own XP bar, you can use it as an indicator to what the XP difference is between you and them at any given point, and from that, you know when their level ups come. Take our Volibear player here, who has just had a bad fight and died, losing him a massive wave. Now while doing the walk to shame back to lane, he watches the enemy Aatrox hit level 5 and then go on to kill just 2 caster creeps. It's pretty easy after seeing this to estimate that Aatrox is pretty flat on that level 5 mark. Now upon getting back to lane, Volibear managed to catch the back end of the wave that was just pushed into his tower, and upon finishing off the wave, Volibear is about halfway through level 4. If Aatrox is an almost flat level 5, and Volibear is only halfway through level 4, we now know that the XP lead here is exactly 50% of a level between the two. Now jumping forward about 30 seconds later, our Volibear has taken a few minion waves here, and looks down at his XP bar to see this. Volibear is halfway through his level progress towards level 6, and if you don't see why this is a problem, you're about to. We know that the Aatrox is half a level ahead of us, and so if we're halfway through level 5, that means that any second now, yeah, Volibear probably should have seen that level up coming. Now my next tip is a little bit of an honorable mention, but it will of course help your early game a ton. And it's something that I think we could all try to improve on just a little bit, and that's our micro. The problem is though is that micro isn't really something that you can practice all that easily, other than just by queuing up for a game I guess. Well, that is until now. I want to introduce you to something called Skill Gap. It's essentially a training tool for League of Legends that I helped in the development process for the last couple of months. With Skill Gap, you can practice just about any micro skill you want, and honestly, it's actually fun as hell. Now I want to show you my favorite training tool they have, and that's probably Shootvival. I basically can come into it, I can pick the difficulty level, let's not pick something too hard, and I'm straight into a match. Now Shootvival is basically a mix between a skill shot aimer and a dodging simulator. I've got to dodge skill shots, I've got to stay away from the bots, but I've also got to hit everything. Oh, I got hit by a bunch of stuff there. So whether you want to brush up on your kiting skills, your spacing, or just about anything else, you can finally do that now. The application has a free version that's available with the 3 most popular training tools that you can play right now. You don't even need to enter your bank card or anything else like that, you just get to test it out for free. The link to Skill Gap is in the video description below, and by using my affiliate link, you'll be helping to support me as well, so thanks. Alright, that was some pretty big stuff. Now for some smaller scale but still incredibly impactful tips you can use. This one is short and sweet. Now there exists a moment as the second wave of the game arrives that you want to be saving your AoE abilities for in order to help you push faster for level 2. Wasting abilities before the second wave arrives, like this Caitlyn does here with her Q, is a very small but really impactful mistake that most people make that hinders their ability to push for level 2. No matter what lane you play, you will always hit level 2 on the melee minions of the second wave, meaning that you have to first clear out the entire first wave of the game, and then kill a couple creeps extra. Therefore, saving wave clear abilities like Caitlyn's Q to be used at this key moment where the melee minions of the second wave are overlapping with the caster minions still left over from the first wave is the most effective way to hit as many minions as possible and help you push for a fast level 2. Another way that you can take this step even further is to figure out exactly how many times you can use your spell before the second wave arrives to ensure that it's off cooldown when this important moment comes up. On Caitlyn, for example, I know that her Q is a short 10-second cooldown, which means that if I use a Q instantly through the first wave as it arrives, then 10 seconds later I instantly use it again off cooldown. It will come up just in time for this key moment where the first 2 waves are overlapping, which allows me to extract a third Q that hits all of the wave, extracting the absolute most out of Caitlyn's Q to ensure that I get level 2 advantage before my opponent. My next tip addresses a really commonly missed opportunity that almost no one takes advantage of, and trust me, this one's really cool, and it goes way deeper than you probably realize. So let's test to see if you would make the same mistake and miss this opportunity as well. To give you some context, right now the bot wave is pushing in towards blue team, And this, of course, leaves Draven and Nautilus overexposed, and so they get caught out far up in the lane by a gank from Pantheon. With a good setup by Thresh, they both get killed here, with Varus picking up both of the kills. Here is where the question for you comes into play. Varus just picked up both kills. What do you think he should do right now? Now I'm going to guess that most people would have said one of two things. Either push the wave into the tower and take plates, or push the wave into the tower and recall. Now if you answered one of these two options, I'm sorry to say it, but you also missed this massive opportunity. Now to demonstrate what the Varus and Thresh should have done, I have a recreation of a very similar situation in the practice tool. Now I'm playing Xayah, I get a kill onto this Kai'Sa, and at the moment that I kill her, I need to make a choice about what I do next. So here's the point where you have two decisions. Option number one is that you want to maximize the reward for getting this kill, and so you crash the wave into tower. What this does is makes them lose this entire wave of minions and XP, and it allows you to get this wave of minions and XP, which will give you more items towards your recall. Now that's the upside of killing the wave. You gain extra gold towards your recall, so I might get an extra longsword. But the second option, and what they should have done, would be to base instantly, because the wave is actually pushing back into me. It is already frozen. Now, if I base instantly like this, I lose the upside of catching all these minions, and I don't receive an extra longsword on my recall. But it's this situation of what the lane looks like after I get back to lane that is so punishing. Now, this wave is frozen coming into me. I'm not losing many minions, but my lane opponent is losing a ton of minions. They've already lost 6 minions, and then they lose almost the entire cannon wave. Now, this is where we're going to start to see the massive power here. So when you get back to lane, the lane is in a really difficult position for Kai'Sa. This could be set up perfectly for a repeat kill on an opponent who was pushed up far with no summoner spells, but let's go with the worst case scenario. Kai'Sa crashes the wave into tower. Okay, she managed to get away with it scot-free. Or did she? Because this is the really big thing. I've just finished clearing out all those minions, and we're going to look at the XP difference between me and the Kai'Sa. I'm level 5.5. She is not quite level 5 yet. I'm up, let's say, about 60% of a level. This is a permanent 60% of a level lead that I now have, and here's the fun part, is because the wave crashed into my tower, it's actually going to settle closer to my side of the lane, which means I am now beginning a slow push. And here's where things become scary. I'm already advantaged by 60% of a level because I denied a ton of minions and got myself a solo kill, but now I'm also advantaged because I have a slow push, and this is where things start to become really dicey for that Kai'Sa player, because if I manage to get just one small trade where I chunk her to even just half health, the combination of the 60% of a level of permanent XP that I have, combined with the giant stacked wave she hasn't yet received, means that at the moment the wave crashes, I am level 6, Kai'Sa is level 4. And this is the upside to why you shouldn't be crashing the wave into the tower if you have the option to freeze it. You're going to deny the same amount of minions. It's just that when you get back to lane, the situation in your lane is so much more devastating for them. Rather than the wave sitting in front of their tower and them having the strength of a slow push coming into you, you have a wave going into your tower and then the strength of a slow push going into them. This is the reason why you almost always want a base of the wave frozen in the early game if you can. The lane state upon returning to lane is just so unimaginably advantaged for you if you do so. By basing on a freeze, I was able to gain a permanent XP lead equal to about 60% of a level. Then upon returning to lane, I was able to instantly go into a lane state where I could begin a slow push, creating a giant stacked up wave that further increased my XP advantage over my lane opponent temporarily. And then, with this brief window of XP advantage, I was able to achieve a massive 2-level lead, leading to an absolutely uncounterable tower dive that completely ended the game for my lane opponent. Next up, I have a really useful tip for the side laning roles. Now, everyone already knows that in the early game, it's best to kill a non-cannon wave and then recall with a cannon wave behind you. If you do this, it'll usually take your lane opponent too long to push back the cannon wave in order to get the wave into tower, since they're such a low level, and so you'll just get a free base without really losing any minions. But what most people don't know is that the second cannon wave of the game actually syncs up perfectly with the jungler's early pathing if they do a full clear, which means that there's an early recall timing that exists for the side lane roles that just makes sense in more than one way. Now, this recall timing is basically mandatory to know for all pro players because it is something that is utilized in almost every single game. But most people outside of pro play don't know it, and it's massively underutilized for some reason, so I'm going to shine some light on it. So in this replay, it's a perfect example. Our jungler is starting topside, pathing down. The enemy jungler is assumably starting bot, pathing up because we have a deep ward, which is exactly what's happening. So for our bot lane here, they are playing on strong side. Our jungler paths to us, their jungler paths away. We're playing 3v2, Great stuff. So we don't care about these early couple waves. Here comes wave number 4, here comes wave number 5, and this is where things become interesting. Wave number 5 of the game is arriving in bot lane at 3:30, which is also the same time as when junglers have finished full clear and are taking the Scuttle Crab. It's a really good idea to have Prowl on this wave, crash into the tower, and help with the Scuttle Crab. Your jungler will thank you for it. It makes sense, right? But it also exists as a perfect recall timing for 2 key reasons. Reason number 1 is that when we crash the wave into tower, the wave behind us is a cannon wave. And if Jinx is level 3 and only has a Doran's Blade, she takes a really long time to push a cannon wave because it's extra durable, so it's basically a free recall for us. Which is awesome, because at this point, generally you have about 700 gold, which is 2 longswords, which is a very significant recall at these kind of early levels. But the second reason that this recall timer is so important is to do with the junglers. Imagine you're playing Viego right now. You've just finished a full clear, you've taken your crab. Where do you think Viego's going to go next? Well, he started topside, so his first camp to respawn is topside. So after he bases, he goes to topside. Very cool. Now, this is where the second reason for our bot lane to recall comes in. If our Viego is recalling to go topside, where is their Kindred going to go? And that's the reason why missing this recall is so bad for our bot lane. Not only do they miss out on the chance of a completely free base where they don't get denied anything, but now that their jungler has gone back top, they become the weak side. They could take a recall and for the next minute either be in base, walking out of base, or catching a wave at tower, and completely avoid the entire period of the game where their jungler is topside and they become the weak side. They would simply base and avoid the whole point of being on weak side. But sadly, they don't take this option, and this is where we run into some problems. If our jungler's top, where's their jungler? Oh no. And that's what this bot lane got wrong, is they forgot this recall timing, which could have given them an item advantage, but would have made them completely avoid this entire 1 minute period of having to play 2v3. So there you have it. Those are my 4 laning tips, and I really hope I lived up to the promise of teaching you something new. If I did, it's basically mandatory that you subscribe and go like the video. Now, just a reminder that until the end of the month, all coaching with me is at a 30% off discount. So I really encourage you to go stock up on some time that you can use in the future for months to come. The percentage cut isn't taken away from me either. It's being covered by Medify, so don't feel bad about it at all. This is just a way for you to get your coaching from me at a cheaper rate that will ever be available again. So I really urge you to do it. Thanks for watching, and as always guys, have a great day.